Hope so. Got to live up to the billing.
I think you've been living up to it for the last couple of weeks. All right, let's see what we got here. Grab this link.
So we're going live?
We are going live. I like doing it live. We make our mistakes. We talk about shit. People are like, yo, look what's going on. All right, I just sent you the link. You can share it if you want.
Okay.
Let's see. Boom. All right. I said it once, I'm going to say it now again. This is my favorite talk of the year. He is Rod Richard. He is a coach. He is spewing nothing but truth bombs on a daily basis. I've been following him on Twitter. I've been dying for a little bit of a talk. And I think we're going to start it off with a little bit of Jay's. Before the YouTube police start shutting down this video. Rod, tell us a little bit about your story.
So I am originally from Richmond, California. I was actually born in Oakland, raised in Richmond. And I mean, Richmond's kind of a tough city. I mean, it still is to this day. It really hasn't ever recovered. So I wanted to get out as much as possible. So I ended up, once I finished high school, had an opportunity to play football out of state. So I went to Michigan and played football at Michigan Tech. And
crazy what's going on with University of Michigan right now, huh?
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. I mean, with everything, like everywhere, but it just kind of is what it is right now.
I just got to say it. I don't think you can say it. Jim Harbaugh is the worst coach in college football. He has consistently choked against Ohio State. He has had talent that he has not turned into a winning program. He is so overhyped, overrated. It is just a shame what he's done to the Big Blue.
Yeah, it's tough. I think last year, a couple years ago, people were thinking he was going to be on his way out, and he's still around.
How is that even possible? Like, seriously, Michigan used to have a heritage of just big offensive linemen, power running, long throw, speedy wide receivers, smash mouth football. They came to play when they played Ohio State. Now, the last 5 years, they don't come to play for the biggest game of the year, which is Ohio State.
Yeah. I think Michigan is like one of those like historic teams where they kind of prided themselves on a long time for having coaches on staff for long periods of time. Like they built like a tradition, and they don't want to be one of those schools that has high turnover of coaches. They want to be a school that, hitches their wagon to a coach that's going to take them to a legacy, right? Like, they want to build that the next Bo Schembechler kind of idea.
I get that, but Jim Harbaugh is not Bo Schembechler. Bo brought it. He had that team prepared for the big games.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so obvious that he doesn't have his team prepared for the big games. They show up, and in the big games they lose 35-7, 42-12. I mean, it's just embarrassing. I used to love Michigan football. I used to love them. And now they're just horrible.
I don't think they get the caliber of recruits they used to get either.
Well, I think lately they haven't gotten them, but like 3 years ago, they had like an unbelievable recruiting season. They had massive offensive linemen, great linebackers. That one, who's the kid that Cleveland took? Peppers or Jabril
Peppers, yeah.
I mean, he was a hybrid safety / lineman that was just crushing people in college football.
Right.
And that year they do nothing. He had a stacked lineup, and he didn't coach them properly.
Oh my gosh, from Michigan are like, they're gonna be so upset with you right now.
I just had to say it because I'm thinking to myself, he's never gonna say it. He can't say it. I gotta say it. Somebody has to say it. Jim, nice guy. You got a doctor's endorsement. Get the fuck out. Bring somebody in that brings Michigan football back to a point where at least they smash people. Just keep it competitive and hurt people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that would be great, right? To see a program like that get back to the top, especially after everything that's going on now. To see some of those storied programs be back at the top would be great for college football. I think honestly though, like right now, we're getting to see a lot of teams we wouldn't have ever seen before. A lot of kids are getting an opportunity to get some spotlight, which is good. Like,
well, the SEC is just, I mean, the SEC is just one of the best football is being played right now.
Yeah, for sure.
You want to see top-notch college football teams play? Watch the SEC, LSU, Alabama, Clemson. I mean, they're just strong up and down.
For sure. Yeah, like I've had the privilege because of my my regular job of being around college football, Pac-12, Big Ten.
What's your regular job?
So I'm a strength and conditioning coach, and so I've worked at pretty much every level in strength and conditioning, and I've visited guys to talk shop and gone to different universities, different colleges, and the comparison of athleticism from even like the Pac-10 to the SEC is crazy. Like, and not even like the top.
Wait a second. Teams. When you say Pac-10 to SEC, which one's crazy? The SEC or Pac-10?
SEC.
Oh yeah, I thought for a second you were going to like point out some Pac-10ers that were like swift on the field. Overall, position to position, the SEC athletes are unbelievable.
Yeah, for sure. Like I don't remember what year this was, but I went to USC. This was in their two-a-days, so it was early camp. Went to USC, and the following weekend I was in Tennessee, so I went to go visit Tennessee. And man, they had some guys like, I was like, there's no way, like across the board, from the kicker to the star.
The kicker. Oh my God.
I mean, like everybody was phenomenal. Like I was like, wow, and this is Tennessee. Like at that time, Tennessee was at the bottom of the SEC. Like they weren't great.
I was gonna say it's Tennessee. It's not Auburn. Right. You're not going to Clemson.
Man, it was ridiculous. Like to just see him running around on the field, see him in the weight room, see him in practice. I was like, oh man.
I'll be honest with you, the fact that you mentioned the kicker, and I'm thinking like this kicker running around the weight room just throwing weights at people.
Yeah. The whole program. And I think that's tough, because a lot of people, like I say, I deal with a lot of athletes, and I got a bunch of guys that are up and down the Pac-10 or Pac-12 or whatever they call themselves nowadays. And they're really athletic and they're really good, but just as a whole, as a team, they don't match up. They've got a couple guys that they can go guy for guy, or maybe like, your starters, your first 11.
Yeah, you're always going to have standouts. There's going to be that one wide receiver, that one tight end. There's always going to be those standouts. But overall, the SEC, when you look at athletes up and down the whole lineup, even the offensive linemen, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's got to be the vitamins. They get better vitamins in the SEC. They've got to be giving those guys good vitamins.
Like 4 or 5 years ago, I was watching Alabama. I don't know who they were playing, but there was a kickoff, and they were going down the line of guys, and 8 out of the 11 guys on kickoff were 4 or 5 star athletes. I was like, this is your special teams. Your special teams, like these guys will go start anywhere in the country.
How crazy is that? Nick Saban, shout out.
Yeah,
God, right? He's loving Alabama. Remember when he had like that 2-year stint with the Washington Redskins?
Yeah.
He was like fuck this. I am going back to the college game where I just dominate.
Yeah, got to.
All right. So in fitness, here's a question that I always want to ask people that are premier athletes. And I think not only are you a premier athlete, but you're also a coach. What's more important, nutrition and diet or athleticism and fitness, getting out and doing the work?
Ooh, that's tough. I think so. I'm going to say nutrition, and I say that because this is like a chicken and egg kind of question right now. So you're kind of trapping me. But I'm going to say nutrition because if you don't have the fuel, doesn't matter what kind of car you have, right? It's not gonna perform. Like if you're not putting the right octane in a Ferrari, it's just going to sit in the driveway. And so I think the nutrition and like all the recovery stuff, like nutrition and sleep, like if you're not getting, the optimal amounts of that, you can have a really phenomenal athlete, but they're going to break down really fast. And so I think there has to be a healthy mix of both. I don't think one is more important than the other. I guess it would depend on your situation, right? Like if I just need you for one or two plays, like, okay, all right, then let's just go athleticism. But if I need you for a season, nutrition.
Interesting. So I grew up in Chicago. You know Derrick Rose, right?
Yep.
So he had a short career.
Right.
And what most people probably don't know about Derrick Rose is when he grew up playing in Chicago, went through the high school ranks, and even when he had his 1 year at Memphis, shit you fucking not, the guy would eat candy. And I mean mogs of candy, mostly like Skittles, rock candy. He would literally have it on the bench at Memphis. He would eat candy. And he had so much sugar that he was taking into his body.
Yeah.
Now, when you're in high school and when you're like in that first year in college, your body can probably burn that sugar off a lot. But I think one of the things that made him very brittle, because he had horrible knee surgeries, bone issues, feet issues. He had so many issues physically, is he was literally putting in so much sugar into his body. And when I say so much sugar, I'm not kidding. I don't know him personally enough to say I could measure it, but I would be willing to bet, just the way I just saw him on the sidelines eating candy and Skittles, he was probably intaking 80 grams to 100 grams of sugar a day.
That's not good.
Even though your body can burn that up, it does things to your muscles and to your bones. And sugar and salt are two killers that destroy the inside of your body that you don't even know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think too, a lot of people, I'm not saying this is true for him, but a lot of people that are really gifted athletes take that gift for granted sometimes. And not necessarily for granted, but like they just it just is. They were born with it. They're used to it. Like I'm always going to be one of the fastest or the most explosive. And my jump shot is just wet. Like I can't miss. So I can afford to do, a little more of this than I should, or a little more of that than I should. Whereas people who have to work a little harder are more conservative about the other things they do. And I think that's the downfall for a lot of people who are born with natural gifts, is they just kind of, I hate saying take it for granted, because that's not what everyone is doing. I know there's definitely some people that are, but they are for sure like, I'm just fast. Like I'm fast. If I was born fast, I'm fast, and I don't think about being slow. I'm just fast, right? And so I don't do much to work for it, so I don't appreciate it as much, right?
Do you know Herschel Walker?
Yep.
Specimen wise, athletic wise, football wise, one of the best players ever. He had a book out, and one of the things that he talked about, his diet and nutrition was insanely healthy. Like he stayed away from sugar. I think even to this day, like he's almost borderline vegan. He stays away from meat. That guy, even to this day, is an Adonis, like physical Adonis. And he literally had that makeup of a body naturally where he was strong and fast, which for a running back, being strong, big, and fast, it's like the perfect, it's the perfect combination. And his diet, from day one out of the womb, he was raised so well to avoid the pitfalls of what injecting taking things into your body that can only slow you down, that can only retard your growth, that can only affect your insides negatively.
Yeah. I remember watching, I think he had like a ESPN E60 documentary, and they were talking about that and like his workout routine and how he ate. And I think a few years ago, or maybe it had to be a few years ago, he ran a 40 and it was like 4.5 or something.
Oh, I'm telling you, he's just amazing. Like I saw him at the Republican convention recently, and even at this age, I don't know how old he is today, but at his elderly age, the guy is just chiseled. Yeah. He's just in great shape.
That's the beauty of routine, though, right? Like routine and consistency. If you can lock into something and stay with it, like at this point, I'm sure it's just habit to him, right? Like he's mastered it to the point where he doesn't even think about it. This is just what I eat. I don't eat that. This is just what I do. I don't do that. And they're not even options for him anymore. So he'll probably be like that for the rest of his life, you know?
Switching a little gears right now, one of your favorite podcasts, who would you say is one of your favorite podcasts that you listen to out there?
Ooh, right now I really like Earn Your Leisure, because I'm interested in a bunch of ways to earn my leisure. And then I kind of bounce around. Like I'll look for things that I want to hear, people I want to hear speak. So I'll listen to Rogan's podcast sometimes. I'll listen to David Shands has a podcast that I like, Social Proof.
Have you had a chance to listen to Mike Tyson's podcast?
I have. It's Hot Boxing with Tyson.
Hot Boxing.
I listened to 1 or 2 episodes a while back.
So good. Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
Now think about this. Yeah. He's about getting ready to box for the first time. I want to say he's 53, 54. Have you seen him in his Instagram videos?
Yeah.
He is a beast. He went from having the belly to, I don't know who's training him, but he is in unbelievable condition.
Yeah. So Mike is one of those guys, and I don't know him personally, obviously, but Mike seems like one of those guys who can be maniacal, right? Like just an absolute maniac about things. And like once he sets his sight, like, I mean, you've seen him box before, right? You see him going to the ring, he locks eyes with a guy and he doesn't break, right? And he doesn't break, right? And then once you tap the gloves and he's on you right now. Like, and I think he'd be the type of guy, and obviously by his transformation, the type of guy that like, okay, this is what we're doing. I'm locking eyes with it and I'm going at it full speed. And that's a dangerous dude, man. He was somewhere showing somebody how to do something in a bar, and he threw like 7 punches in a few seconds. I'm like, man, he's too old to be hitting people that fast, that hard. Like, there's no way.
I feel sorry for Roy Jones. I mean, he's probably thinking,
Roy was very good in his time, but Roy towards the end was falling apart. I mean, Mike towards the end was falling apart, but I don't think this is a good move for you, Roy. Like, speed was your thing, and the older you get, the slower you get. Power, you can get that back. Like that speed is diminishing. Like it's not coming. You're not gonna be ducking punches or being the rooster anymore. You're gonna take some of those punches. So this is gonna be really interesting to see.
I think Tyson in his prime was the most powerful upper hook boxer ever. And he might have just been the most powerful upper hook boxer ever. When he would come in and just upper hook people like this, it was so powerful. He had his hips moving right, he had his body right, and he was just so mean and strong.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't even imagine what an upper hook felt like then. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even know what it's going to feel like now, because when that fight hits, I know they guaranteed him $20 million. That's going to be a good guarantee, because that fight's turning out to, it looks like it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 20 million, man. So I remember when I was younger, everybody used to be like, would you get in the ring with Mike for $1 million? Or no chance. I wouldn't get in for 20 million. Forget it. Forget about it.
Let's be honest. When I grew up in the streets of Chicago, I'm not kidding, probably every 2 days until I grew 9 inches one summer, I literally got my ass kicked every 2 days. And everyone's like, oh, would you get in the ring with stuff? And I've heard that so many times. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I literally got my ass beat every 2 days, year in and year out, by every size person, literally on the block. And after a while, once you've been hit a couple of times, like maybe 20 or 30 or 40, 50 times, it actually, your body reacts pretty well. It doesn't kill you to get punched. Like it could hurt really hard, But your body, after a while, like you get a bloody nose. After a while, the first time you're like, oh my God, it's bleeding, blood everywhere. About the fourth or fifth time, you're like, all right, it's bleeding. And you're like, is that it? Because are we done? Because I got to get home and do my homework. So I think everyone, if you've been hit enough times in life and you have to get in the ring with somebody for a round, fuck, hit me. Whatever you got it. I get it. But it's not going to kill you. In most cases, it's not going to kill you. You know, most cases.
All right. Well,
I mean, it's funny because
I'm not.
I'll be honest. Your body reacts to defending itself in those situations more than you know. Like you have all kinds of superpowers that kick in when you have to defend yourself. And believe me, we've always been, and your body only does one or two things in those situations: fight or flight. And either way, it's 3 minutes. You know, fight or flight, 3 minutes. Catch me if you can.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about your digital commerce game, because I know that that's a big part of what you're doing now.
Yeah. So here's what I noticed. Like, so when I got into whatever's money, Twitter money now, I noticed that, you know, people were making money doing different things like that they had learned from these courses, but the people who were really making money were the people who were creating the courses. And so, you know, I was one of those people. I had bought a couple courses and it was beautiful. I learned a lot. I was able to use it and apply it myself. But I realized, like, okay, so I'm applying these things and then I'm becoming an affiliate marketer. I'm even helping people who help me help other people, which is also great. But I can help more people if I created a digital product myself, right? If I get outside of the consumer idea and become a creator, those are people that end up being, you know, really successful financially, right? It's like you either, I think Chris Johnson says this before, and I kind of change it up every once in a while. And it's like, there's two types of people in the world. There are people who sell things and there are people who work for people who sell things. And I don't want to work for people who sell things anymore. I want to create some things for myself, that I feel really passionate about, that I think that are going to be really helpful for people. And build on that, right? And so that's what I've been doing, or that's what I've been trying to do lately. And I think I've kind of started to hit my stride with it for sure.
So there's 4 guys that I'm working with on a series of master classes called Meal Prep Masterclass, where you learn about meal prepping. Yes. And one of them is a guy that's All American Dave. I'll introduce you guys on Twitter. And he's doing meal preps where you can literally prep your meal, showing you what to buy at the grocery store, how to make it, what's the nutritional information of it, and then how to use those meal preps as a way to plan out your intake throughout the week. Right. And I think that that's something that you would be awesome at. Like, I think nutrition and meals and things that you put in your body is things that people would buy to learn how to improve a portion of their life. And in this busy day that this busy life that we live, all of us, meal prepping and cooking at home and controlling what you eat. Because when you buy stuff at the restaurant or at the fast food joints, you ain't buying good food. That's just not good food. Yeah. On any level. Like, the bun is not good. The cheese is definitely not always cheese. And the burger is not always coming from a cow.
Right. And even at some of the healthier places, like, I think the fact you just don't know what they put in it, right? If they're creating it for mass quantities, there's no way to create, 700 hamburgers healthy. Like, you just can't do it. And so with meal prepping, like, when you prep it yourself, you know exactly what's in it. You can portion it properly. You can calculate for the macros that you want, the calories that you want. You have an opportunity to really structure your meals for the day, which is where you start to see success. And when you can plan, and like I said about Herschel Walker, when you have a routine and you're consistent, that's where you get to see the success.
So if you want to be a part of that meal prep masterclass we're doing, Andrew Gruel from Slapfish Grill, if you follow him, he's amazing at doing lobster related meals and seafood meals. Chris from Amore Pizza, All American Dave, and I can't remember who the 4th one is, but I would tell you that meal prepping and showing people that in a masterclass that's something that changes people's lives physically. And that's one of the best things that I think you can show people. You can't always get them to do yoga at home. You can't always get them to, go out and work out and follow a routine. But if you can show them how to cook and control their intake, they can control what they're eating. They're basically putting the right stuff inside their body, right fuel.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's, people have to eat, right? They don't have to do yoga. They don't have to work out. They have to want to do those things, but you have to eat. So if you're going to eat, learning how to do it and be healthy and add years to your life or improve the quality of the years that you have. I think a lot of people, you're right. A lot of people are all about that.
How many meals a day do you eat? Do you eat a lot of meals, a lot of short meals, or do you eat them in three meals a day?
So I have like 3 real meals, I would say. And then just depending on what I've done that day, I'll have probably another 2 or maybe 3 smaller like snacks. I wouldn't call it a meal because it's not, all components of a meal. So I definitely always have breakfast. I think the breakfast being the most important meal of the day thing has stuck with me since I was young. But also I think, you spend the night literally fasting. That's why it's called break fast or breakfast.
Oh, wow.
And you get the opportunity to set the tone for your day through your meal. You get the right amount of fuel to kind of push you through your day. So I always make sure I have breakfast. I work out typically really early in the morning. So I actually work out before I have breakfast. And because I do that,
what time do you start your day?
So I get up at like 4:45.
Wow, that is so crazy. So I don't know if you've seen some of my videos, but I literally go at 4:30 in the morning and walk my dog for about 6 miles. And literally, when you want to hear the craziest thing here, this is crazy. Every day, I shit you not, 4:30 on the dot. I don't know how that dog has the clock system in his head. He comes and he starts crying to wake me up. And it's funny because he loves chasing rabbits. He like literally loves it. I don't think he'd ever kill one, but here, come say hi. Like it's not a show without the star. So talk about athlete. 100 and solid 19 pounds, probably 4% body fat. If he was a football player, I'm not kidding you. This is like your great outside linebacker end. All right, I can't tease him too long. He'll start crying. Yeah. But literally, I start my day at 4:30. The sun's just barely coming up at about 5:30 out here.
Right.
And I'm not kidding you. It is the best thing in the world when you start your day at that crazy hour because there's nothing going on and you can get your head right.
I was just about to say that. The world is yours. The world is yours when you get up at that time.
Oh my God. I always say that. I'm like, literally, I'm waking up with the world. There's like, I'm walking around and I know people are sleeping and it's such a weird feeling of calm when it's like, and do you get outside? Do you get out at 4:30 or do you work out?
Yeah. Well, especially now, like originally I would get up at this time and I go to the gym or I go to I work at a gym. So I go to my job depending on where I was. But now with the gyms being shut down and I don't feel like—
Are the gyms shut down?
Yeah, I'm in California, so the gyms are still shut down. My gym isn't because of what we do. We're kind of in that loophole.
Now answer me this. How fucked up is that when literally being healthy, getting sunshine, keeping your lungs aerobic, how fucked up is it that being healthy is being prohibited during a situation where people are trying to avoid this whatever?
Yeah, it's tough, but I mean, I think with the gyms, some of them kind of started doing the outside thing, which has worked. But I think if it's kind of like if everyone can be responsible, we might be able to go back into gyms but it's just, that's not going to be the case, right? Like not everybody is going to be responsible. It'll be like before all this happened, like, you were a little sick and you went to work anyway because you didn't want to miss time. Or like I used to work out when I was a little sick. Like I'd be in the gym with sniffles, like, you know what I mean? So now with this situation, like people will do that. And, the fear of COVID, it just can't have it. So it sucks for sure. Like, I don't think it's convenient for anyone. But one thing I didn't really notice, and I thought this was really cool, is initially, not so much now, which is really weird. Like people kind of burned out, but initially when I would go for my walks, I was by myself. And
Gotta get a dog. Gotta go adopt a dog. Let a dog find you. He'll adopt you. He'll interview you, and he'll say, you know what, you and me till the end.
I have one. He goes with me. I'm talking about people though. Yeah, I got a dog. I got a Frenchman, so he's a French bulldog.
Where is he?
He is probably outside right now. He usually would be banging on the door right now trying to get in here, but he must be outside.
He might come in. What is he? A French bulldog?
He's a French bulldog and Boston Terrier mix.
So the chubby one?
Yeah.
Wow, my buddy across the street is a football coach for one of the high schools, and he's got a dog named Tyson, and he's like, I want to say 18-month-old puppy, and him and Jesse's, bigger, taller, longer legs. Tyson's got these like chubby legs. He's running around like this. Those two, when they get a chance to go play and run, Tyson's always trying to like nibble him at the neck, and Jesse's like rolling with him. It is fun watching little chubby dogs trying to run around. They're just the best.
For sure. Yeah. Mine's he is 6, about to be 7.
What's his name?
Kingston, actually.
Oh, such a strong name. Kingston Mines?
Huh?
Named after Kingston Mines?
No, just Jamaica. So my daughter named him actually. Her favorite place to travel is Jamaica, so she named.
Yeah, that's where Kingston Mines is. It's a bar, and they came out with record labels. It's Kingston Mines. If you look it up, you'll be like, oh my god.
Okay,
it's from Jamaica, Kingston Mines.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, well then, yes, named after Kingston Mines.
This will blow your mind. All right, so how long you had him? The whole time?
Yeah, we got him when he was 6 or 7 weeks. Yeah, we got him when he was tiny.
Oh, they're the best, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. So I was saying, it used to be just me and him out, and then gradually, like, people start being out, like a few more people, and then like we'd go for walks later in the day, and there's people running and people outside, at the park, and like stuff you wouldn't see normally. Like people are out being active in the world, which I thought was like a really cool side effect of the gyms being closed, as people were finding a way to get outside and get sun and still be fit. Which is really cool. And I don't know how that's going to hold up when everything opens back up, but it would be nice to go to the park and see families out running around and having fun.
Yeah, I think that I've noticed the same thing, because over the last 6 months, me and Jesse have been going out, and we get up at around 4:30, and usually about like the 6:30 area, you see other people getting out with their dogs, and it's actually been really social. I think one thing that's super important if you're a dog owner, let your dog socialize with other dogs, because if they're just with you all the time at home, they get a little aggressive, they get a little fucked up in the head, and they're under some impression that there's no other dog in the world. But when they play and they interact, like there's this one little dog about this big, he's a mini Chihuahua pincher, and he looks just like Jesse, same coat, same patch, and for whatever reason, his name is Gizmo. Whenever reason, he chases Jesse. He like literally chases this big 119-pound dog, no fear. And then Jesse's running from him, but they love playing with each other. Like they see each other from a long distance. Jesse's off the leash. He goes running. Gizmo comes running. They're like, oh my God, what's up? And that's the thing too, is, you got to get out. You got to get that vitamin D. You got to get that sun. The sun is so important. People have lost sight of how, I know people like for months have stayed inside their house. Like it's crazy. And I'm like, until you get out there, get that sun and, have social activity. I mean, people were so afraid of like social distancing. Dude, it's the sun. The sun will kill any virus. At UV and 80-degree temperatures, the virus does not exist. It's not going to exist in that warmth. So people worry too much. The sun, that's ultraviolet light, and 80 degrees will kill COVID. It'll kill it. Now, this is not medical advice, so anyone that's listening, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, people just have to get out. And when you get out with your dog and you connect with other people and your dog connects with other dogs, and it's just so healthy. It's good for the mind. It's good for the body. It's good for the soul.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's necessary. Even when everything gets back to normal, please go outside. Go outside. Find ways, find things to do. Put down your phone, get off of Netflix, go outside.
God, Netflix.
Go outside.
So what do you think about, let's just cross over into something current events. Netflix had this show recently. Are you a father by chance?
I have 2 daughters. Yes.
Oh my God. So I got to ask you this question. Now I got to ask you. Cuties. You know the show?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it. I heard there was some controversy, and I was like, okay, but I didn't.
9-year-old girls
about it.
twerking and talking about sex, and they call it basically soft pedo porn. Like it's basically a pedophile's dream movie to watch. And Netflix decides to air it. 9-year-old girls talking about sex and twerking. Now you're a dad of 2 girls. Talk about it.
I mean, I'm not really sure how that like gets past the focus group or like, you know, the acquisition team or the people like who didn't review that? Like who didn't look at it and go, oh, this might not be a good idea. Wow. Like I heard there was some controversy and I didn't know it was that, you know.
As a father of 2 girls, if you watch that, I would love to get your feedback because I don't have girls, but my buddy who has 3 girls, he was like, he literally couldn't believe it. Like it's one of those things that had so much shock value that it shows you that as a society, a social culture, we're kind of going off the deep end. Like we got to there comes a point where you're like, okay, we got to have values that are ingrained in something that is a little bit away from that.
Yeah, it sounds, I mean, anything for entertainment. Like this is kind of crazy. I think that's how fast though, like tech is speeding us up. Like this would have never happened without the internet. You know what I mean?
Never. Well, here's the thing too. There's a great book. There's a great movie out there that talks about God, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like it talks about how social media is like just changing the way everything is consumed, even products.
Right.
And everyone's looking for that next edge, that next, okay, let me see if I can do it one better. And you look at Cardi B and her new song WAP. You're familiar with that song, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much raising the bar. That's like hey, let me just talk about this in a song and see how that plays out. Well, it played out really well. I mean, some people hated it, but a shit ton of young girls are like, fuck yeah, this is a great song.
Yeah. Yeah. And that stuff is so back to social media is like a microwave. Like it heats everything up extremely fast. Which can be problematic.
That is actually a great saying, by the way. Social media is like a microwave. That's like the best analogy I think I've ever heard.
Because it speeds everything up, and not everything is meant to be sped up. Like not everything is meant to happen right now. Like there should be some progression, because if there was like a slower natural progression, you might find like, that's not right. Let's get that out of here. You know, because we're going from like 0 to 60. You know, you see things that like after, now it's like after the fact, we're all like responding, or like after it happens, okay, now we got to take it off. We got to get that off of. It should have never made it there. Because if we were following the process instead of just trying to put out content, right? Or if we were looking at the quality of it and not just trying to, like you said, have the edge on our competition, stuff like that doesn't make it out. But I think too, because of the way things are with social media, like there was always a saying, all news is good news. Like whether it's bad or it's good, it's getting your attention, right? And now, because now like you think it's bad, but you just asked me to watch it. So now I got to go try to find it. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm drawn back into it. And so Netflix wins either way. Like at the end of the day, if we're talking about them,
I don't think they won this one. I think
I don't think they won.
Lost over 2 million subscribers, $14 billion in market cap. And I think people are starting to realize I don't need to support that kind of decision making.
Exactly.
And I also think what people are starting to realize too is your money is how you vote for what things happen in life.
Right.
And if you don't buy what somebody's selling, well, eventually that's your way of voting for the things that you want to live by.
Right. These companies are smart. They're not going to keep selling stuff that people aren't buying. Like, if you don't buy it, they'll get rid of it. Like that's just how it goes. Or they'll find something else to try to get your money, but they won't continue to push that thing you're not buying.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you get enough people unsubscribing, somebody goes up to the CEO of Netflix and says, hey, we got a little issue here. And then they realize, okay, maybe we shouldn't have done that.
Right. Then they draft an apology letter and
Yeah, we are the most forgiving economy in the planet. Like you say sorry for doing something. Look at a great example. Are you familiar with Purdue Pharmaceuticals?
No, no.
One of the richest families in the world, Purdue family, $35 billion that they generated in total wealth. Well, how did they do it? They legally sold people oxycodone, but they didn't just sell people oxycodone. They sold it in such extreme amounts that people were literally buying. Like the small city of West Virginia that had 7,000 people in it bought 350,000 pills of oxycodone. Like,
Wow.
when you think about that, you're like, how does the company not realize, wait a second, we're shipping a lot of pills that shouldn't be consumed by that many people in town?
Right.
But they realized they could get away with it, and they recently had to settle. Here's the crazy thing. They generated $35 billion in wealth. They paid a fine to the US government of $12 billion and shut down the company. And I thought to myself, well, they're still ahead $23 billion. They're still billionaires.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck? How does the law work where it does shit like that? It just makes you realize that some people can buy themselves out of criminal activity.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, look, I'll give you 12 if I get to keep 23. Like,
like when they heard that offer, they're like, is this thing working? Yes.
Yeah.
Our lawyers have agreed to take that. Like,
man, that's a lot of money.
Oh, you should read the story. It's one of the most crazy. And here's the crazy thing. There are people in jail doing insane sentences, like 25 years for a bag of weed, like literally maybe like an ounce or 2 ounces of weed.
Right.
And here, this corporate entity run by individuals, they didn't have a crime. They didn't have to pay the penalty with a civil term. They had to pay it by writing a check, a civil term. And I'm thinking to myself, how fucked up is that they didn't go to jail, yet they were literally selling a narcotic. Oxycodone, I don't know if you know it, is a derivative of heroin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's straight up fucking heroin. And when you take it, ask anybody that's in that space, you get on oxycodone, it is fucking unbelievable to get somebody off. They are fiending for their next fix.
That's wild.
Yeah. So here's this family. They don't go to jail. They just write a check. But there's so many people doing ridiculous jail terms,
right,
or something nowhere near equivalent on scale.
Right.
There's something wrong. There's just when money can buy you freedom like that, there's just something wrong. Lady Justice is not exactly blind.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Well, the difference is the guy who gets caught with an ounce or two of weed can't pay $12 billion. So there, let's get rid of him. Get him out of society. But you guys, you pay us 12. Okay, we'll take the 12 billion. You go do whatever you want to do now. That's unfortunate, but that is where we're at.
Yeah,
where we're at.
So tell me over the next 6, 12, and 18 months what your personal roadmap looks like. What are some of the things that you're focusing on achieving?
So immediately, like right now, I'm actually in the process. I'm in like a pre-sale right now of a course dedicated to mindset.
Do you have a link for it? We'll put it under this video.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Send it to me later. We'll get it on the video.
Yeah, so I'm working on that. Should be completed by the 1st, which is my daughter's birthday. So I'm trying to make.
How old is she?
She'll be 6. My youngest will be 6. Yeah.
When she's 6 on October 1st?
October 1st, yeah.
Crazy. Jesse's birthday is October 31st. He was literally a puppy from a litter on October 31st.
That's dope. Halloween pup.
Well, I never take him trick or treat. By the way, just for the record,
yes.
Unless you have kids, Halloween is a criminal activity by a terrorist group designed to drive your doorbell crazy and make your dog lose his shit every 5 minutes.
Yeah. The same, man. So we go out and our neighborhood's pretty active. So we just go around our neighborhood earlier in the night because my girls like to still pass out candy. But But because our neighborhood's super active, like all night, I mean, like 10, 11 o'clock at night, people are knocking on the door for candy, and the dog is just losing his mind, like losing his mind.
I'm telling you, it's a terrorist organization designed to drive you crazy. All right, I got to tell you a funny Halloween story. So do you ever see the this is partially funny and partially cruel, but I'm not cruel. I didn't see it playing out that way, but I thought it was kind of funny when I did it. So do you ever see this? Remember the movie Scare and the white mask from that movie?
Yeah.
So I got this black like robe thing with the scare guy, and I literally stood like this by my doorway as trick-or-treater kids were coming, and I had the bucket of candy next to me, but I stood like this, like I was just like a prop. And so kids would come, and right as they'd go for the doorbell, I'd grab them by the wrist, and I'd give them some candy, and I thought it was fun. So this guy has his little girls, and they're in princess outfits with the little, whatever, the dress and stuff. She's all, excited, and she's coming. And all of a sudden I move, and then I'm like, boo! So she goes flying back to her dad. She's crying. I'm like, no, here's some candy. It was just trick or treat.
Yeah.
Long story short, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's a bad idea. The parents lose their shit. What'd you do to my kid? I'm like, hey, just said boo.
Yeah.
Kids
I remember
today
used to do that when I was younger too.
Yeah, kids today are not as thick-skinned as when I was growing up. I'm like, God, kid, it was that the mask. It's Halloween. I'm like, here's some candy.
Yeah, that's tough. That's messed up, man. You ruined that little girl.
It's one, like the father's like, how could you do that? I'm like, it'll toughen her up. Imagine how tough she'll be going into next Halloween. She'll never be afraid.
She'll be prepared.
I'm like, hey, by the way, download Scream. She'll love the movie.
Yeah. At least help her understand where it came from.
I'm like, all right, I'm going inside. You guys can have the candy. By the way, bad idea. Don't leave a bucket of candy out in front of your door. The fat kids always empty it out into their bucket. Nobody else has any.
Yeah, we did that one year too. When we had the ring doorbell, and you see a kid just take the whole thing and dump it into a into a pillowcase and take.
I had the same thing, and I'm like looking at it, like I personally didn't care, and then it dawned on me. I'm like, holy fuck, there's no candy left, which means they're gonna attack the doorbell again. Yeah. So I'm looking in the house for shit that I can give away. I'm like, oh my God, ho-hos, Twinkies. Oh God, just give it all to them.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm excited. I'm interested, not excited. I'm interested to see what it's going to be like this year.
Trick-or-treating?
Yeah. I know they're talking about like
kids in fucking hazmat suits with their parents in hazmat suits.
Yeah.
Nobody's trick-or-treating this year.
Yeah, I think the local paper here was like they may ban trick-or-treating. Like, how do you do that? Like, you can't. How do they monitor that? Like, how is
Listen, when they're taking some 9-year-old kid away in handcuffs with a fucking Freddy Krueger mask on, that's when you know this shit has just gone crazy.
Yeah.
What are you charging him with? He was trick-or-treating.
Right. He was soliciting.
He was spreading coke. Here's the other thing. Today, I don't know if they did it in California. They did a PSA and all kinds of stuff about this new contact tracing app that the state of Nevada wants to have everyone download. And they're like, oh, don't worry, your privacy's safe. I'm like, are you fucking crazy? It contact traces every one of my GPS movements. You're basically spying on my shit.
Right, yeah. By definition, it's not safe.
Yeah, I think COVID has been a political year plan in the making for years to either thin the herd, which it didn't really work so that well, or create less personal privacy for every human that's in America. Because the laws that they're coming up with out of this shit is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
like it's just insane shit when you think about the government contact tracing you. Like, and then they give it names like contact tracing. Why don't you just call it spying?
Well, contact tracing goes down well. Spying.
Some Washington group got paid $1 million to come up with that terminology.
Man.
Just like social distancing. What does social distancing mean?
That's what I was about to say.
Like people are like, oh, social distance. Dude, when I get together with my friends or see people that I like, I'm still going to want to shake your hand. I still want to when you start social distancing, after a while, we become some weird fucking people, and it's starting to happen. Like, you've got Karens out there that are losing their shit over. Woman walked up to somebody with a tape measure, screaming that her kids weren't 6 feet from each other. I'm like, who takes a tape measure outside? I mean,
people are taking it upon themselves to police everyone.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I don't get it, because I don't have the time, like, to like, I care about everybody, but look, like, I'm not gonna be, monitored. I'm definitely not gonna be out with a tape measure, because first of all, if I have a tape measure and wherever I start the tape measure, I'm too close to that person already. Like, I'm breaking the 6 foot rule.
And here's the funny thing: who came up with the 6 foot rule?
I don't know.
Like, I studied biology for 8 years, and I tell you this right now: there is no 6 foot rule that keeps COVID in the air away from you. Like, whoever came up with that is just trying to fill people with stupid ideas. COVID can go 20 feet, 18 feet. It can go 2 feet. It can get caught up in a jet stream. And let's be honest, COVID's not even airborne. People don't even realize COVID is not airborne. It has to get into your sinuses. See, the crazy thing about this thing is people watch the news and they think they're getting the truth, when in reality, they're getting a narrative. Yeah. And I think it's actually making people less healthy. They're not getting to the gyms in some places, a lot of places. They're not getting outside because they're worried about leaving their house. They're not eating healthy. Have you noticed that supply chains of healthy food are starting to get a little weird?
Yeah. Yeah. The whole thing, like all the like I said, side effects, all these other things that are happening because of the viruses. It's wild. It's wild to see it happen. Like, I remember earlier on when it first started, I was like, you have you ever watched Black Mirror on Netflix?
I've heard a ton about it, but I haven't watched it.
So it's like,
is it science fiction?
Yeah, science fiction. So they have these episodes about, like, just kind of crazy stuff that happens. Like, it's really good. You should watch it. But when a friend of mine was saying, like, 2020 is the best episode of Black Mirror ever seen. Like, it's just crazy, like, all the stuff that's happening, and there's so many layers to crazy. Like, it's not just like a one thing. There's so many different things all happening at the same time, and all of them equally crazy. It's wild. It is absolutely wild.
What do you think is the craziest 3 things of 2020 you've seen so far?
Well, one, the virus is huge. So that's got to be number one. We had a little stock market crash, which, the economy, so it crashed and rose like insane really quickly, which doesn't typically happen. And then, I mean, really, COVID's got to be like, COVID's 1, 2, and 3 for me, because it hits every single part of it. Like, every part of it.
While those 3 things are pretty, like, tied together to the whole COVID thing, the crazy things of 2020 that are, like, totally shocked me, we lost Kobe in a crazy way at the age of 41. And he was just starting to do some stuff post basketball. I mean, he was involved in some great business projects, and he was 41 years old. Yeah. Like, when I heard that was like, to me, that was like, what? That was like horrible. Like, that was just terrible. Yeah. And we've lost some other people that are, like, huge this year.
Right. For me, Kobe, like, I'm a Kings fan, so I'm not an anti-Kobe at all. Like, I love Kobe's game, and I love Kobe as a player, but, like, what he embodied outside of the court and what he was starting to do after basketball was, in my opinion, way more important than 5 championship rings, than anything he was doing on the court. Like, the stuff that he was starting to build, the going out and talking, and, like, all these interviews that
his talks were, I'm not kidding you, his talks were so full of great messaging. I'm not kidding you. So I had a chance to go to one of his talks in LA, and it was at a crypto event, which is crazy. But he talked about mindset. He talked about, making your life magical, great, taking control of your future. And just, he was 41. He was like a racehorse, a thoroughbred, just coming out of the gates into a second stage of his life. And that whole helicopter thing, I'm like, oh fuck. And I know helicopter gets you faster, and you avoid all the traffic and shit. And I know it's great and I thought to myself, it was just crazy bad. Like, that was one of the things where of all the shit that was happening that day, you're like, I actually thought when I first started, I'm like, what? You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah. I was at a football practice actually when the news hit, and you could, like, it was like a gasp, because you have parents kind of sitting watching, and you can hear people, like, it's just like a murmur in the crowd, like people start talking and and then some ladies like Kobe, and like, oh man, the kids start finding, like, it was a whole thing.
And the thing
at first,
the thing that was crushing too is it wasn't just Kobe, it was his 13-year-old daughter with him.
Yeah.
Now, in some ways, I thought that was beautiful because she died with her father, which I know it sounds horrible, but I found that to be in some ways beautiful. But in other ways, I was like, she just was starting her life. Like, she was 13.
Right. And the other family on there too, like those people, like everyone involved in that situation was or could have been at a pivotal point in their life where they were going to touch and move the world in the right direction, and we'll never get to see it. There's obviously a ripple effect with somebody at the magnitude of Kobe passing, and people start looking at it differently, and there's all these things that are happening in remembrance of and because of, but none of them are like what he could have possibly done with his influence. You know what I mean? Like that's a guy that transcends all things almost. You know what I mean? Like, he's international. He speaks a bunch of different languages. He's huge in America. He's huge.
Here's crazy. He spoke fluent Italian, English, French, Croatian. How crazy is that? He used to be able to talk Croatian to Luka Doncic.
Yeah. He spoke Spanish too, because him and Powell used to have little side conversations about plays while they're playing. Yeah. Like, he could go anywhere in the world and spread his message or his vision, his goals, and it would have been extremely impactful. Like, he had an opportunity to be one of those, and he was, but could have been more of one of those once in a lifetime people that their legacy lives on forever kind of people. And it just kind of cut short. Like, it was basketball Kobe, and that's what a lot of people are going to remember him as. But he was so much more than that, so much more.
It's crazy. It's crazy because as great as he was in basketball, I think what he was starting to do in business, people don't realize, Body Armor, the drink.
Yeah.
He bought in when it was a $6 million company, and they got sold. I don't want to misspeak, but I know he made some ridiculous amount of money on that deal. And he built that company from a nothing into a something brand. Are you familiar with the guy named Scooter Braun? He was the agent for a lot of big name singers. He's one of the top music people in the music industry.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the name. Yeah.
So Scooter spoke at 10X conference here in Vegas with Cordone. God, what's his name? Grant Cardone. And he talked about, just life stories, things that he did, how he found, great people as they were just coming up, and what he looked for in people that were great. And then there was a point where he talked off stage about a event that touched him in such a big way, because this speech that he gave at the 10X conference was like literally, I want to say 2 weeks right after Kobe died. And he said there was something about Kobe that transcended basketball, that was beyond basketball, that he enjoyed watching Kobe as a person, as a player, and then as a business person. And he was just starting to come into his own. Like, that of 2020, the one thing that everyone starts to lose sight of and forget about is we lost one of the greatest treasures, in my opinion, in the world. Like, he was just about to do some amazing stuff, which is crazy because he won 5 championships.
Right. Yeah. Because if you know, we compare them, right? Like Mike and Kobe, MJ and Kobe, and Mike is just basketball. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you talk about Michael Jordan, you don't talk about anything other than basketball, right? Kobe only. I mean, you know,
he's done some pretty amazing things in business too.
Well, like his
brand of clothing is
Jordan
just
brand. Yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely huge.
And I think he's done some other companies too. But yeah, Kobe, I get it. He's like, he was just about to like build his own image. And that's the crazy thing too, is Kobe and Mike, I don't think a lot of, like, at first people compared them, but Kobe like separated. He became Kobe Mamba, and then Mike, you know, was Mike. And he was okay with that. They were like really good about their whole identity.
Right. Yeah. I think so too. I agree.
Now this is going to sound crazy, but the Scooter Braun story, the reason I told you that is, you know, he went around and he found stars like Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift before they were huge. I'm telling you, you're going to be amazing. You're going to, in a year from now, your personal brand, who you are, where you're going, you're here now and you're going to be here in a year. I'm 100%, like, I can't say I'm 100% sure, because you're never 100, but I'm as close to 100% sure of a human being as I've been in a while. Like that 100%, wow. 99 point, and then off to the nines.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dead wrong.
I really appreciate
it. It's one or the other. So I'm either right or wrong in this one. But I have that gut instinct, and I think that there's something powerful inside of you that you're going to do something amazingly great.
God willing. I mean, that's the goal. To do something that is special, that helps other people, in life.
Well, you know, the funny thing is, we're talking over Zoom right now. We're talking about, you know, digital commerce. We're talking about your story. We're sharing that story, and then we're putting that story up there for people to watch at a future date. Mm-hmm. The amount of digital commerce that is going to happen in the next 6 years, they expect to be in the trillions. Like, literally, people are buying food through their computer. They're buying education. They're buying knowledge. They're buying products. They're buying this microphone. They're buying everything through the phone, through the computer. Digital commerce, I don't care what you're selling. Knowledge, that is going to be the key. And I'm telling you, you're going to have a year from now multiple courses, maybe 5, 6, 10, who knows, that are going to improve people's lives through digital commerce, through digital knowledge.
I mean, again, that is the goal, right? Like, I know that things are trending that way. Like, it's obvious, like you can't help but see it. And to think because I do one-on-one, you know, individual coaching, and I do some small group coaching, and those things are really effective, but then it limits, you know, there's only so many hours in the day, and there's only so many people I can meet with. The digital aspect gives you the opportunity to be everywhere and anywhere all the time.
It gives you the ability to scale.
Yeah, for sure.
You can scale your financial wealth, and you can scale everything in your life. And it's just a matter of being able to package and deliver something that is life, not just changing, but improving.
Right.
I always tell people, if you're going to put together a digital masterclass, give people something for X dollars that gives them 5X dollars worth of value and improves their life, makes their life better.
Right. Yeah. That you have to provide value, right? Like, you have to provide value, just in general, and two, like, it just can't be valuable to you. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people, or a lot of courses are like, what I want to tell people, or what I would have wanted to know. And I think you have to kind of probe your audience and figure out what it is that they want, what are their pain points, and then figure out how you provide value to that, right? And how you figure out how to create value for a person who isn't you, right? Like somebody else.
I couldn't agree with you more. Hey, I got a little bit of a problem. Can you help me out?
Go for it.
Do you have any plans on January 30th, 2021?
No, I typically don't schedule that far out.
Great, because we've got 20 world-class speakers coming to Vegas to talk to 5,000 people over a live stream and in an auditorium on a stage format. And we don't have anyone to talk about mindset, nutrition, physical fitness. Do you have anybody in mind that could talk on a stage to people about those talking points?
By January 30th, you said?
Actually, it's on January 30th, 2020.
Okay, yeah, I think I know a guy. I'm pretty sure I know a guy. He kind of looks like me. He's tall, not tall-ish. He's tall-ish, you know.
Okay, so let's be honest. You're throwing your hat in the ring. You're saying it's you.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So let's figure out a way to get you on stage. Let's figure out a way to teach people what you know. Let's figure out a way for you to sell from the stage. When Tony Robbins, who I worked with for about 6 years, in massive crowds, would teach people from a stage, he would always say, I'm not only teaching from the stage, I'm selling from the stage. I'm giving them the ability to buy digital content that will improve their lives. And I believe that just like this is a digital stage here, people will love hearing your message, hearing your vibe from the stage.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. That was a great little coaching setup you just gave me too. I like that.
Well, it's kind of weird how like I plan this shit out and I say, you know what, I'm going to bring it up to him and he's either going to be scared or busy and can't schedule it in, or he's going to start thinking, wait a second, this could be a lot of fun. Go to Vegas, fly out there. Yeah, a couple of days off with the wife.
Yeah.
By the way, there's a spa day on Sunday where everybody, all the speakers that come to the event, we've got 300 all access passes. The all access pass gets you into the spa, massive hot tub, steam room, massage, whatever, all the good stuff you could want.
Wow.
So yeah. I mean, if you talk to the wife and she says, yo, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think she would say that's a bad idea. That sounds like a great idea.
I'll be honest with you, it's one of my better ideas. We've got a world-class lineup of speakers, and we just don't have this guy to talk about mindset, nutrition, and health. We just don't have him. And on Friday, there's a whole group of people that want to do like fitness-related stuff, yoga, walking up and down the strip. I mean, somebody has to step up and just claim that speaker's slot. Somebody has to say, it's me.
Well, both hands up. I just put both hands up. Right?
So you fly out here, you come, we talk, we get you on video. You own all the video content, you own all the pictures. You got a boom mic around you. You're on a massive elevated stage. In 2021, that kicks off building your brand from here to here.
Yeah, man, that is like oof.
So you got a couple months. You got to put together some digital courses that people can consume, because there's no sense in talking from the stage unless you got something to sell.
Right.
Like the apple farmer saying, well, I'm selling apples, but I got none.
Right. Yeah.
So you got plenty of time for that.
I'm excited.
I can see it. Like you're smiling, you're thinking, I can see in the brain, you're like, holy fuck, I didn't see this coming. Yeah. He's like, you should have told me we were going to talk about this.
Yeah, you see the wheels turning behind me, right? Yeah.
I know there's some people watching this going, wait a second, how do I get to Vegas? By the way, the tickets to Vegas right now, round trip, I think are like $12 from anywhere in the U.S. So if you're smart, you book your airline tickets. Listen to this agenda, by the way. Listen to this agenda. We all fly in on Thursday. We have a 7 p.m. kickoff private dinner for 3 hours. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever you eat with people, whenever you sit down, have a meal, whatever it is, you have good food, you drink, there's something about connecting with people over food. I don't know what it is, but when I eat with people, I get to know them. I get to really know them.
Yeah, break bread, right?
Break bread, drink good whatever, have good desserts.
Yeah.
not supposed to say this. I'm probably one of the guys that's speaking. It's his wife's birthday that night. We're gonna have like some ridiculous cake from. You ever see the guy? Who's the cake king? You know, the Buddy
Cake Boss.
Cake Boss.
Yeah.
So he's right down the street. He's making this ridiculous cannons going out and stuff. I think she'll lose her mind. Hopefully, she doesn't see this cast. Maybe she probably rarely watches my shit, but she'll cry. 100% she'll cry. They've been married forever, or not forever, but they've known each other forever. They literally are the best husband and wife team. I won't say who it is because then it'll be really cat out of the bag. But they're the best husband and wife team for 12 years of working together and flipping items on eBay and Amazon and all the sites. And they teach that class to over 400 people that are all making money, flipping everything from gym shoes to you name it, all kinds of stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we start off with a dinner. Everyone flies in Thursday night. Great camaraderie. Friday, clear schedule for everyone. We got all kinds of like mini stuff that people can do, yoga, walk up and down the strip, get some oxygen, but it's all networking. People get a chance to connect, do it on their own time. Saturday, start our day at 8 a.m, finish at 6 p.m., 20 speakers, world class, literally 2,000 people in the auditorium, 5,000 on the live stream, maybe more. And then at 7 o'clock that night, after an hour of finishing up, we have a closeout dinner, private dinner. People will get a chance to say goodbye. And then that Sunday is a spa day.
That sounds really good, man.
That's not the best agenda for a summit on how to learn to improve your life at the end of January for the first month. What happens in January of every year? What does everyone do every January, every year?
Resolutions. We gotta change your life.
Change my body, change my mind, change my wallet.
Yeah.
So you literally come out of January, Christmas is over, you're looking at your credit card statements, and you realize if I'm going to change, it starts with me learning how to change. Because if you don't learn how to change, you don't know how to change. And if you don't learn, you can't earn, because the more you learn, the more you earn. And that I stole from Warren Buffett, who seems to know that shit pretty well.
That's right.
So we all meet in Vegas. You go back home, and it's February 1st, and you start the week off strong because you just put in the work to share the knowledge. And when you share knowledge with people, when you give them value, they will buy whatever you're selling.
Yeah. That's it, man. That is going. It's funny you mentioned a couple that's flipping. The course that I have right now is about that, but it's about your mindset, about flipping your mindset. Because a lot of us are in a situation where, you know, we've been an employee for so long. We have kind of like this employee mindset where we clock in, we clock out, we wait for the day to be over. We can't wait for the weekend. And then Sunday night, we hate it because Monday's coming the next day and we start all over. There's a cycle, right? If we're going to be great, if we're going to, you know, increase our finances, we're going to be an entrepreneur, if we're going to start flipping things or selling things, creating courses, going from consumer to creator, you have to first flip your mindset. That's got to be the first thing you flip. It's not a pallet. It's not a car. It's not shoes. It's none of those things. If your mindset doesn't flip, you take that course to do those things and you might get lucky and hit right away. Your IPO may be great, but after that, you're going to burn out because your mind isn't ready for what's next. Your mind is, you know, ready for a consistent paycheck, or your mind is ready to like clock in at 8 and clock out at 4. But when you're an entrepreneur, you don't clock out. Like, you are the business. The business doesn't close unless you say it's closed. And that takes a different kind of mindset, right? There's going to be ups and downs. Like when you work for somebody, when it's the down season, you don't care. You're going to get paid either way. When you are the business, when it's a down season, you better be figuring out what to do next. And that takes a toll on your mindset. So the course is about mindset. It's about mindfulness. There's a little bit of meditation in there that I sneak in.
Meditation is awesome. I got to tell you, more people, if they meditated I do it for 15 minutes. I always tell people, forget that. Take 3 minutes at some ridiculous early hour of the morning when the world is quiet and just breathe. One of the things that people need to learn is if you learn how to breathe, you will empower your body to be stronger and more powerful. And if you could just take 3 minutes and just think about 3 important things you want to accomplish that day. I'm not kidding you. I've taught that to so many people, and it has changed their entire outlook on life. And it just takes just small amount of time tuning out everything. Don't work with your phone. Don't check Twitter. 3 minutes, get away from the world. Now, if you can do it longer, that's great because you get your mind ready for the day ahead. People don't realize the day ahead for your mind is like a Indy 500 race. Like when your day gets started, you're like zinging and zanging and you're making turns and hopefully you're not crashing, but sometimes you do crash. Then you got to get, all your shit back together and so you can get back in the race. But in the morning, that's the day where you're getting to the starting line and you just got to just take that moment and say, okay, is the engine good? Is the fuel in? Am I ready to crush this day? Am I ready to win the day?
Exactly. 100%. 100%. The beginning of the day, you know, your mind is the freshest. You've got the most energy. You have an outlook. Hopefully you prepped the night before. You know what your day is going to look like. You can start to look at your schedule as a roadmap to success, and to take a few minutes, focus on your breathing, do some square breathing, 4 up, 4 holds, 4 out, 4 hold, like, you know what I mean? And just really, really get into the right mindset to attack the day. Like, know that typically at 2:30, I'm kind of burning out. So, I know that that's coming, and, just have everything planned out ahead of time. Take that time to clear your mind and focus. And, that 3 minutes in the beginning of the day, you may need another minute in the middle of the day. You might need another 4 minutes by the end of the night. But with practice, you become better at it, and you're able to respond instead of react. And I think that's probably one of the bigger things, is you are able to calculate your responses instead of letting your emotions force you to do something that you're going to regret later, right? So respond instead of react so you don't regret.
It's amazing you brought that up. I actually pulled out some notes because I did a talk the other day, and I talked about greatness is your destiny. I have a T-shirt that I gave away when I owned a mobile app to young kids. We gave away 15,000 T-shirts, and I'm going to find one. I'll show it to you. I'll send a picture of it, and it says "Greatness is your destiny." And I wrote a masterclass called "Greatness is your destiny." Controlling, a champion mindset. My last name isn't really Chris Champion. That's just a moniker. Okay. But when I started going and telling people my name was Chris Champion, like literally people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, but Chris Champion, I met you at this blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, all right, that's just a moniker, just so you know. But when you start living your life, and I started realizing, I was into personal development most of my life. And when I started realizing that if I started referring to myself as a champion, if I started telling myself I was Chris Champion, after a while, I started excelling and exceedingly well at certain things. And one of those things was business building and investing. And so I just took that mindset for the last 10 years and I said, okay, I'm going to build on it. I'm going to share something with you. Now, it's a little religious, and some people, whatever your relationship was with God or whatever your faith is in, that's great. But when we're born in this world, I believe, and I have tons of facts, you can prove it in the Bible. When we're brought into this world, God places in the center of your soul a seed of greatness. It is a light. And that light, some people refer to it as a white dove, whatever it is, that light is a seed of greatness. He gives us a chance when we come into this world to do something great with our life. He literally says, your destiny is to be great. And he plants the seed in every one of us. But as we get older, the world tells us what we can't and cannot do. And then we start seeing all these negative things. And then we start listening to the world, and the world covers up that light. And eventually we forget that light is in the center of our soul. But if we look deep inside of ourselves and we realize that inside of each and every one of us, there is a seed of greatness, and that greatness is our destiny. Fact of life. We are all destined to be great. Fact. But the only thing that holds us up individually from being great is ourselves and our mindset. And I always tell this story to people because if you want to change your mindset, if you want to change your life, control your mind, control your future. You can tell yourself anything you want is possible. And then you can find a way to achieve it. People always get excited about goals. I always tell people, get excited about achievement.
Right.
I mean, if you start your day with goals, that's great. But if you start your day with achievement, that's even better. Like you take out all the goals that you put on these long lists that you start your day with, and you take 3 things and say, I'm going to achieve these 3 things today. I promise you, the day gets better when you achieve the first one, second one, and third one. And when you go to bed at night, those achievements are more empowering than those goals will ever be.
100%. Yeah. I like that, man. I really like that.
Yeah. I think somewhere down the road, you're going to use some of that stuff. You're going to remind people that God brought you into this world to be great. He planted a seed inside of you, that greatness was your destiny. And it still is. Nothing has changed. Until you stop breathing and you go to the grave, you are destined to be great.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is people don't believe that.
Right.
Like I've done that talk hundreds of times. I've done it in front of all ages of people. My best friend, one of my best friends in the world, she's an entrepreneur. She's running a website called Shop for Heroes, where she's doing some amazing things with some amazing brands, where everything she sells, like she has these, like, are you familiar with copper infused compression socks?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you ever worn a pair?
I haven't. No.
Dude, I'm not kidding you. Like, I don't know what your feet are like, but when I love wearing good socks. Like, I don't know what it is, but I love wearing good, high quality, fresh cotton socks. And when they're copper impressed and they have compression to them, where like your feet get a little bit of a squeeze, that shit is the bomb. She sells those socks and under the Heroes brand. And then she goes to St. Jude's or the hospitals. And like, if you can imagine a kid that's going through something, leukemia, cancer, or just might be in there for a couple of days. When you're stuck in the hospital, you know what's the worst feeling in the world? You got those shitty fucking hospital socks on your feet. Really? Those are the worst fucking socks they can ever give a human being. And then she goes and she gives those socks to kids that are in hospitals, and they love them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now, that kind of stuff is not just digital e-commerce. That kind of stuff is what I call life achieving. Like, she's building a business that's achieving things that are beyond the dollars and cents and doing off the chart great things for people. Now, the reason I bring that up is I told her about the Seed of Greatness. She heard me do the talk the other day with 40 or 50 people that are in this group. Then I got done and we turned off the Zoom, and she literally goes and says, well, I can't do this. And I'm like, didn't you just hear, like, Seed of Greatness? You can do anything you want. Greatness is your destiny. Boom, boom, boom. And it's amazing because she went and did something she thought she couldn't do, and she did it 3 times. And she booked these 3 events that she's doing to give away socks. And she just didn't feel comfortable calling on these professional athletes. I'm like, they're going to love your story more than you love their story.
Right.
And sure as shit, hockey player in Sweden and another guy and a football player in Chicago, she's like, they said yes. I'm like, of course they did. Because you have to change your mindset.
Right.
You have to tell yourself that you believe in you. You know, it's funny. God, and this is just my belief, and I know somebody that's watching this video is going to post some comment about, why they don't believe in God. That's okay, because God believes in you.
Right.
But God is our biggest fan. Whoever your God is, could be whatever one you want. But my God, our God, he believes in all of us, every single one of us has amazing faith in us that we are designed and destined to be great.
Right.
You know who fucks that up? We do.
Yeah.
He says, hey, your life's going to be great. We're like, yeah, well, I'll show you, because I can't do this shit because I don't have money. Yeah. And then he's like, no, you're great. You're going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And it's all about mindset. So what you're doing in creating people's mindset to get them to flip that mindset, to change that mindset, that's life-changing.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome what happens when you do that, right? Like, when you start to believe in yourself, it's amazing how opportunities start to present themselves. Like,
out of nowhere.
When you previously didn't think it was possible, and then all of a sudden you take the leap of faith and believe in you, and then all of a sudden, like, these doors are starting.
The leap of what?
Leap of faith. You heard.
I'm sorry, what?
Faith. 100%,
Amen.
100%.
And by the way, if you don't have enough faith in yourself, you've got to have the most faith in you, because you know what? Other than God, no one else is going to have faith in you like you have. Right. And that's the funny thing is, you have to teach people that have faith in yourself. Be your biggest fan, your biggest cheerleader, because guess what? You are the one you're betting on. Everyone always talks about, oh my God, I got to buy this course. Oh my God, I got to buy this stuff to flip. Hey, guess what? You're not buying shit. You're placing a bet at the window and saying, here's my money. I believe in me. I'm going to do this shit. I'm betting on me.
Boom. That's it right there. That's it.
By the way, this is not a podcast or a cast that incites people to gamble. I want you to gamble on yourselves.
Yeah, 100%. Like I saw this somewhere, and I use it all the time. It's like, listen, when you were a kid, for however long it was, you believed in Santa Claus, you believed in the Easter Bunny, you believed in the Tooth Fairy for years, for probably close to a decade. Take the day and believe in yourself.
Okay, this brings up a story I got to tell you. So when you're a kid, your mindset is amazing.
Right.
Like you believe anything's possible, but it's the world that all of a sudden tells you what's not possible.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember big wheels? Remember the little plastic big wheels?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember a guy named Evel Knievel?
Yeah.
I saw that guy and I believed that I could do what he could do. Like he would jump ship. So there was a gangway in Chicago, and me and my friend Doug Lazon, Doug, I hope you're doing well these days. We built a little ramp, and it was a ramp over a little three steps down, a little bit over, 3 steps up. So maybe like 6 feet long. And in my idea that I sold my buddy Doug on was that in our big wheel, in our fucking plastic big wheels, we could gain enough speed to jump that thing. So we got some bricks, we got some plywood, and sure as hell, I'm the first one up, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking do this shit. Just so you know, there was a straight drop right into the pit. I ended up, we didn't clear out the pit. There was a 6-inch rusty nail in it. It went into my head. Had to go to the hospital. And as the doctor's asking me how it happened, I said, you ever see Evel Knievel? So as to your story, when you're a kid, there's nothing you can't do. There's nothing.
You believe. And then as you get older, you start to embrace society's beliefs, right? And you start to put these rules and these boundaries and these limitations on yourself. But you're still the same person as you still have the same ability. You're not the same person, but you still have the same ability to believe in yourself as you did when you were a kid. Like that doesn't leave you. It's still there. You've just been stifling it for years, right? But you can go out and be great if you believe in you being great, right? But a lot of us don't believe that those opportunities exist for us, or we give and put other people on a pedestal that have become successful, like they had some kind of magic pill. But typically the difference between the successful people and unsuccessful people is they believe in themselves and they don't quit. That's it. Like they just keep going, right? They face obstacles. They don't always have all the right things at the right time. They have some of the same drawbacks and issues that you do, but they just kept believing and they just kept going.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I tell you, the fact that we're talking about mindset, it's reiterating and re-emphasizing how important it is to get your mind right. A friend of mine, former NFL player with the Philadelphia Eagles, his name's Jonas Kraft. Do you know him by chance?
No, I don't know Jonas.
Great guy. He's out there just selling a mindset, and he's got a chiropractic business. The guy's a successful individual. And it's amazing because he starts his day with something that he always says, and that is get your mind right. And he always says that, and we always goof around about it. And it's so important. It's super, super important to get your mind right, because until that happens, nothing else that you have plans for in your life will happen until you get your mind right.
Right. Yep. It's essential.
You brought up Jordan. I had to pull this off. He has a quote, one of the best quotes of ever. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed.
100%. 100%. You got to fail forward, right? Every loss is a lesson.
I like that. Fail forward.
Yeah, you got to fail. You have to, right?
Where's the t-shirt? Fail forward. It's got to be, I'm telling you, it's got to be a t-shirt.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. You know, like you mentioned Warren Buffett and the learn and earn, right? Once you start to reframe and refocus on, like, it's not wins and losses, it's wins and lessons. And if you learn, you drop the L, right? That's it.
That's awesome. I'm telling you, I can't wait for your mindset class to get out. It's going to be October 1st, right?
October 1st. Yeah.
What are you going to sell it for?
I don't know yet, honestly. I think the pre-sale is at 47 right now. When it officially drops, I'm not sure where I want to go with it.
I think 47 is good, because if you sell things too cheap, people don't value and appreciate it.
Right.
If you sell it too much, it becomes too much of a burden on some people that need it most.
Right.
I think 47 is right where you want to be.
Okay. All right.
I think that's a good price for people. I see a lot of these classes, and one of my friends sells a class for $10, and I'm like, dude, you sell it for $10. I know you're collecting a lot of leads, and that's great, but people, I guarantee you, are not appreciating the value. Sell it for 20, and if they'll buy it for 10, they'll probably buy it for 20.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny that we're like that as people. You can give somebody $1 million for free, and they don't think it's like $1 million of value for free, and it's like, it's free, whatever. They may never even read it, never look at it, never finish the course. Like, the end of the course is where all the value comes in. They read the first couple of pages, or they watch the first video, and they're like, it's free, I'll get back to it later. And then when it's really expensive, they're clamoring for it. Like, I gotta have that. Like, that's the thing. And that's
well, it's funny because with Tony Robbins, we would charge $250 for a weekend to go and do the unlimited Unleash the Power Within, where you walk across 50 feet of fire. Right. By the way, have you ever done that?
Walked across fire?
Yeah.
Yes. I can't speak on it, but yes, I have.
Okay, good. So people look at 50 feet of hot coals. We put the thermometer in there. We show it to them that it's like 300 degrees, and they're like, right. Fuck. And then you have to literally tell your mind, I'm going to do this. And then when you do it and you realize you haven't burned your feet and you haven't done anything, sometimes you burn in between your toes because you planted the foot wrong. And when you walk across coals, do not plant the front of your feet, just so you know.
Right.
Walk on the heel. But you get you get their mind right at the beginning of the 50 feet, and then you get them across that 50 feet and you walk with them. And then they look over their shoulder and they realize, holy fuck, I just did something that mentally should be impossible.
Right.
And I think when people do that, when you get them past that threshold, they start realizing again that they can do anything.
Right.
And that's the thing. That's why, your mindset class, it can change the rest of their lives. It can make maybe not $1 million, but maybe it makes them better, stronger, more powerful for the next 12 months, 18 months. And in the 12 to 18 months, they do something well worth more than $47.
Right. Yeah. That's the goal. I love that. I love the idea of the hot coals too, because like you say, one, before you start, you definitely have to get your mind right. Like there's so many things you start thinking before you start moving, because it's hot. You know what fucks people up is we would keep an ambulance right there, and they see the lights in the ambulance, and when you're talking to me like, yo, look over here, like, but I'm like, don't focus on that, focus on that, and then you get their mind right, and they go across it, and now they're like, the fucking ambulance was a prop, and you're like, yeah, because we're trying to get you to focus on not the fact that you're going to the hospital, the fact that you're crossing 50 feet of hot coals. I was gonna say that is a great setup and analogy, because,
by the way, for the record, there were a couple of people that did go to the hospital. Again, do not plant the toe.
But I would say it's a great analogy and a great setup, because when you start something or when you're going to change your life, everyone's biggest fear is failure. And when you're walking across hot coals, your biggest fear is getting burned. So that ambulance is a symbol of failure or being burned, or like you're going to be burned so bad you have to go to the hospital. And so you have walk across the coals and be successful, or you have go to the hospital or fail. And these are the options you're faced with right away at the beginning. And you have to have the willpower and the courage and the mindset to go this route and walk across the fire. And that's huge. It's super. I mean, obviously there's super smart people involved there, but that's
by the way, one of the things that we learned throughout that whole process is it's not only your mindset, but you have to have a support group that sometimes gets you started and gets you across that. Because once you have the right people in your life, the right support mechanisms, the right people feeding your brain on a daily basis, the right messaging, when you get past that finish line, you had people walking with you, and we would clap and we'd be like, cool Moss, cool Moss. You got like 50 people clapping around you, and you're like, fuck yeah, I could do this. You get across and somebody waters your feet down with a hose, and you're like, I did it. And you realize, holy fuck, I just walked. You don't run, by the way. Another thing, folks, don't run. You're walking across them. When you just walked across 300-degree coals, like real coals, the coals you make with barbecue,
right?
You start realizing, holy shit, if I could do that, I can do anything.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
And all that starts with the egg.
Everything starts up there, right? Everything starts in your head. It's not all in your head, but that's where it starts.
Have you found that people that shave their head technically take care of their egg a little bit better than most people mentally?
I don't know. I haven't found.
Let's look at it for a second. Kobe, shave the head. Michael, shave the head. I mean, if you start looking around, you start realizing the people that shave the head that really take care of the egg, right, they know what they're putting in the egg.
Yeah, I think we may be a little biased in that, but I do think that being conscious of it being important is huge at all times. And I think a lot of people focus on the outside things, like all the things that they could be doing outside of their body, when the reality is it's got to be about you. You have to be able to take care of you. And this is just funny, COVID thing. You had to put your mask on first, like you're on the airplane, right? And they tell you the safety protocol. Even when you have children, they're like, hey, if the mask drop down, you put your mask on first and then you help your children. I think that's something that we all have to kind of take a look at. Is we have to be able to put our own mask first, take care of ourselves, take care of our mindset, take care of our body before we can do anything for anyone else effectively. Like you can not put on your mask and maybe put somebody else's mask on, but then you're not gonna be around for much longer. So it's important that you take care of yourself first, so that you have the ability to take care of and to give and to impart to other people.
You know, it's funny because my grandmother was like 88 pounds, but she was like a drill sergeant from Germany. And when she raised me as a kid, it's funny because what you just said is so important. And she always said to me, nobody is going to do your homework. Nobody is going to pay your bills in life. So you have to do the work. You have to do your homework. And her favorite thing, every fucking 10 minutes, get to work, get to work. She said those words probably growing up. I'm literally not even joking, probably 100,000 times. Like she'd wake me up in the morning at some ridiculous hour to get to school. My school started at 9. She would wake us up at 6:30. She's like, hey, you have to get ready for school. You have to get to work. You have to make breakfast. You have to get to work. Everything was get to work. You got to finish the backyard, get to work. You got to take the garbage out, get to work. I'm like, Jesus Christ, grandmother. I'm 9 years old. But if you think about it, you have to put in the work on yourself. Nobody is going to do it for you. Right. Nobody. Tony Robbins, he has a great video out on, I think it's Netflix still, where he says, I'm not your guru. And everyone like used to, flock to Tony and they wanted to touch him and they wanted to get some of his energy. But the one thing he taught over and over and over again is it starts with you. It starts with your mindset. It starts with changing everything inside of your life. When you change your life and you become a multimillionaire, sure, you can help other people.
Right. Right. Yeah. But it starts with you. Like I think Jay-Z recently has a quote in the song. It's like I can't help the poor if I'm one of them. Like if I'm poor, I can't help them. Like so it makes sense for me to want to be rich so that I can give back. I think that like again, it's something that people miss. Like you have to be able to take care of you. You definitely have to do the work because if you do the work will do the rest. Right? Like just get out there and get to work. Get to work on you and watch how everything else opens up.
I told you this was going to be one of my favorite talks. I told you it. I knew it. I knew it.
So far. The next time we talk, that one will be your favorite talk.
The next time you're talking to me will be, well, actually, no, that's not true. We'll probably talk before that. But one of the times that you'll talk to me, you'll be on a stage, you'll have a boom mic, and you will be teaching people how to get their mindset in a place that will change their life financially, physically, and mentally.
Okay. I'm with it. I'm excited. I'm telling you.
Unless you don't show up.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
Because in life, my grandma always said, the biggest part of life is showing up.
Showing up. Yeah.
She used to always said, you can't do good in school unless you show up early. That's another thing she always said is show up early. Like for whatever reason, I get to stuff these days in my life. I'm the guy that's like 30 minutes early, 20 minutes early. I'm the guy, for whatever reason, that woman drill sergeants all the good things in my life into my head. I didn't even realize it when we were growing up. You never realize it when they're doing it to you. But when I look back at my life, she used to, you got to show up early in life. You got to show up early in life. I'm like, now I just grow up and I'm like, all right, I got to show up early. Why? Because some old lady told me. Yeah. She lived to be 88 years old, and she was on any given day 88 pounds, and she was just a wealth of old school proverbs, like literally all the stuff that she would tell you. And that's the funny thing too, because a lot of what it goes into getting your mind right starts with getting work, get work and putting in the work. Like you can't learn how to get your mind right unless you read and learn from those that have their mind right or are teaching that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, is in school, we're starting to learn our kids aren't getting taught the really important stuff.
Yeah.
They come out and they've got just lack of knowledge. And that's why, I think for kids these days, parents should spend that $47. Hey kids, learn about mindset.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care what age they are, like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, especially high school. Like you get into high school these days, there's all kinds of fucked up shit, hey, TikTok this, TikTok that. And it's like their mindset is so off, like in the left field. And you're like, hey, what if I just got a freshman or sophomore in high school's mind right? What would their life look like 10 years later?
That's what actually pushed me into this, to be honest. Like, I mean, I've always had an interest in it. Like psychology has always been something that I really, really love or liked anyway. I didn't make it my major. It was a minor, but and through my career working with athletes, like the sets and reps all kind of run together, squats and sprints and all that stuff is cool. And I've had a bunch of athletes win championships and gold medals and Super Bowls and like all this, the World Series, all that's
great. On the Super Bowl. Who'd you work with that won a Super Bowl?
Two guys, both played for the Patriots, Chris Barker and Greg Orton. Chris Barker was a center guard. Greg Orton is a wide receiver.
Greg Orton. Why do I not remember him?
Okay,
I got to show you something. Now that you mentioned that, I got to show you something.
Oh, nice.
Now it's a replica, but one of my friends is a fund manager for Robert Kraft.
Yeah.
And this is the one that they got. Remember the Atlanta game?
Yeah.
28-3.
That's nice, man.
Yeah, this is my true love in life. I don't know, do you know these guys?
I can't see it. It's so shiny.
Let's see. Do you know this guy?
No. Toes?
That's Jonathan Taves, Chicago Blackhawks.
Taves, okay, got you.
Oh, this is 2010, the first of 3 Stanley Cups in 5 years. They were a dynasty. They still are. I mean, they're still a great organization.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm all about champions and learning about what their mindsets are like. And the one thing about the Patriots, they were down 28-3 in a Super Bowl.
Right.
In the fourth quarter.
Right. No one ever comes back from that. No one comes back from that.
Like, no. Here's the crazy thing. All Atlanta had to do was run the ball out. They decided to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Seriously. They won that game, and they won multiple Super Bowls. And I'm telling you, it's because of one reason. And it's not because of one person, but it's one reason. Belichick, Brady, even the two wide receivers, the short ones. I can't remember their names, but
Edelman
and the scat back one, the one that like literally caught 17 balls a game. He'd like jump out. And he went to Denver. I can't remember. You know what I'm talking about?
I know you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyways, I had a chance at the Super Bowl one year too. Wes Walker, yes. And there's even other players. I mean, like just Gronkowski and their mindset going into those Super Bowls. No different. I guarantee I wasn't there during the fourth quarter, but I guarantee you that there's not one player. Maybe there's like one that had doubt, but I guarantee you that all of them, even down 28-3 in the fourth quarter, 100% in their minds, they were still going to find a way to win.
Yep.
And that's what you have to be in life. You have to, like, freshmen in high school, you have to be told, listen, your mindset is that you are going to win the day every single day.
Right. That's got to be. It's got to be. No matter what the odds are, no matter what's stacked against you, if you don't believe that you have the ability to get it done, then you're right, because you're not going to get it done. Right. Yeah. So I was saying, like, that working with those athletes and all of that, all those accolades and all that stuff has always been really great. Like, you want to celebrate those things with them because they're athletes, but that's only one part of their identity. And what I've always loved about working with athletes is the conversations that we have. Like you said, talking about like freshmen and sophomores in high school and talking to them about like real life stuff and like the mindset and the attitudes that they have to take and that type of effort that they have to give and how all these things that we're doing in the weight room and out on the field translate into real life. And I always cherish those conversations and those talks, even more than like the jerseys that they give you or like, all these things that you get to have. That is where the most value was for me. And that's why I got actually a large reason why I got out of coaching professionally is because I felt like those guys were already at the top of their craft. Like there wasn't much for me to do but manage them and make sure that they didn't get hurt. When I'm working with a youth athlete, I get to see the growth and I get to be a part of it. I get to be a part of shaping and molding that young person's mind and their muscle. You know what I mean? And so because of that, like I really, really started to find that, the mindset part of it and the mental part of the game was way more important to me. And so I started exploring more for myself, and then one thing led to another. And now here I am, talking about mindset with you and soon to be talking about it on the stage in front of thousands of people.
Now, one thing I got to tell you that you should really, and maybe you've already done it. Have you read any books on NLP, neuro-linguistic programming?
I have, yeah.
So I think that's going to be like a big part of what you teach people. And that's a big part of my life is I learned that early on, mostly from Tony Robbins, and who does a great job teaching it. And I got to tell you, when you start to understand that the words that leave your mouth go into your ear first and grow in your brain, that you start to realize I've got to control what I say, because whatever I say plants a seed and starts to grow. Right. So if I plant seeds that, hey, you're going to be on stage in Vegas on September 30th, January of 2021. Well, if I say it and then you start to say it, and then eventually it happens.
Right.
If you say things that are not going to happen, that you can't do, that all these things that you can't do, well, guess what? Then that's not going to happen because you can't do it.
Right.
And it's funny because I tell people all the time, not just to tell them, but just to change their lives. There's nothing you can't do. Now, granted, there's some things that might be a reach and might be tough to do, but don't tell yourself it's impossible to do, because it isn't.
Right.
Patriots, 28-3. Just go back to that. That's impossible. And they did it. You know, I mean, there's so many. Here, I'll give you another example. The Blackhawks against the Bruins in the Stanley Cup Finals are down by one goal with literally a minute and 17 seconds left. Like literally impossible. They score the tying goal, and 17 seconds later, they score the lead goal, which ultimately became the winning goal. That never happens. That shit never happens.
Right.
But guess what? If you tell yourself it's possible, then there's literally nothing in life that you can't do. Now, there's some stuff that seems hard, really tough, but nothing is impossible.
Right. Yeah, that reminds me of like Roger Bannister in the 4-minute mile. Like
great story.
Right. Prior to him doing it, like it got to the point where like they thought it was not possible. Like scientists had determined that getting under that mark was impossible. And then he dedicates himself to doing it. He breaks it, gets a 3:59, and then now, like every year, like 23 people break it, like easily break the 4-minute. 23 new people, not like the same 23 people, like multiple people each year are getting underneath this number. And actually, not that long after he broke it, somebody else broke his record. Like once it happened, once he proved it was possible, everyone else was like, okay, all right, he got 3:59, 3:58, 3:57, 3:55. Like people just start knocking these numbers down, and it's crazy. It's crazy because you have people that run a marathon and run the marathon and will hit like consistent 4 or 5 minute miles for 23 miles in a row. And not that long ago, somebody couldn't run it in under 4 minutes. Like it's crazy what's possible once you believe it's possible, right? Or once somebody shows you it's possible. That's probably in most of our cases, somebody has to show us that it's real. But I mean, why wait for somebody else to show you? Right? Why not?
It's funny. There's an old T-shirt that we used to wear during training, and it always was impossible, but there was an apostrophe in between the I and the M.
Impossible. Yeah.
And it was funny because the word impossible, if you change a little bit, just a tiny bit, and add an apostrophe, it changes the entire meaning. I'm possible.
Yeah.
And if you think about that, it only takes a little change. Like Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. I think 11 people that same year right afterwards broke it after, which for years it never was possible. But if you just make a subtle, tiny change, the rest of your life becomes amazing.
Yeah. Like then this happens. It happens a lot. Like and I'm just thinking about track just because we're talking about Roger Bannister. Like Ashton Eaton, I think he's a decathlete. I think he's a decathlete. So he this is a few years ago, he was already going to get a gold medal. He's already ahead of points totals. He had already broken his previous points record, and then he had to run. I forgot what the actual race was, but the time he had to beat was 3:17 or 3:18. The time he had to beat was 3:18 to create a new world record. The previous world record was already his, so he had like no reason to do it. Like just win. You got the gold medal. Go home. He ends up running in 3:17 or 3:16, whichever. It was a second less than what he needed to run in. And they interview him afterwards, and what he says is, I didn't do it for me. Like I had already won, but I did it because I was once a kid on the couch watching a guy run and break a record, and it made me want to go run. So I went out and broke this record because there's some kid on the couch that just saw that and he's going to be inspired to do better. And I think that's the kind of the kind of thing we have to kind of take for ourselves too, is while we're building ourselves, and like we talked about, working on yourself and putting your mask on and taking care of yourself, but always in an effort to push the world forward and to help everyone be better by example, right? Because we have that power, and you have to believe you have that power. You have the power. You have the power to create the world you want to see. You just have to believe in yourself first.
Faith.
Yep.
God has more faith in ourselves, in our lives,
Yep.
than many of us have in ourselves. And you have to be your biggest cheerleader. You have to believe that you can take that big wheel and jump over the little ravine. You just have to believe it. Now,
Yeah.
granted, when you're in the hospital and you have to explain what you just did, you might have to reevaluate the whole concept of using a big wheel. Maybe get something motorized.
Yeah, but right, that's a part of it, right? So you believe in yourself and you set a goal, you create a process, and you work the process. Because you may be wrong in your process. That doesn't mean that goal isn't still yours. You just adjust the process, get back to work, and keep working until you hit that goal. So yeah, you drop the big wheel and you get a bike, and now you're halfway, and then you drop the bike, or you figure out how to make the bike run faster, so you have your friend push you as you pedal. And you know what I mean? Like you just keep working towards it.
A little higher trajectory too.
Yeah, right? You don't quit. You don't quit. You just keep believing in you.
You know, it's funny because my greatest failures in life, I've somehow learned something so valuable down the road. Like, it's crazy. I'm doing a project that I'm an investor in that's built around decentralized lottery. We're literally going to disrupt the lottery system. And it's funny, we're using code from projects that literally, failed and never did anything. And it's so funny, like, software, you can reuse code for something in the future that may, with a couple of adjustments, be successful. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself recently, I'm like, wow, how many times in my life have I gotten a lesson from a failure that ultimately I used, or maybe I had a connection from a failure and I used to do something successful. And that's really what it is all about, is there's no such thing as a total failure and a blow up and a burnout. There's something there. It could be, don't use the big wheel, or it could be, there's something there. And if you don't learn, if you don't take a lesson out of the failure is just an experience. But if you take the lesson out, the failure is just the teacher.
Right.
And that's my big wheel story. By the way, just as a disclaimer, parents, be careful if your kids go out and try to set up a big wheel jump set. Make sure that they understand the whole, concept of aerodynamics.
Yeah.
All right. So listen, what are 3 things you got out of this talk?
Well, believe in yourself, right? Believe in yourself. Number 1. That big wheel story is awesome, actually. Believe in yourself. You have to say it, hear it, and let it grow in your brain. And mindset in your mind is where everything starts. And so it's important that you take care of the start.
I knew this talk was going to be one of the best. You did not disappoint. What you're going to do on October 1st. Yeah, Jesse's pretty pumped up about it too. What you're going to do on October 1st and into the future over the next 12 to 18 months is going to be like watching somebody build a masterpiece. It's going to be like watching the Patriots come down from 28-3. It is going to be awesome to see some amazing stuff that you do. I'm telling you, you're going to do something that is just mind-blowing amazing. People are going to want to soak up the words that are leaving your mouth. People are going to want to learn about changing their mindset from you. And it will not be just one person or 2 or 10 or 100 or 1,000. It will be thousands of people, and they will live a higher quality, greater life because of you.
Thank you. I mean, that's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate those words.
It's a fact of life. I'm telling you, I've believed it for a long time. And this talk today, I know there's greatness inside of you. I know you're going to do something amazingly great. And if there's anybody that watches even just a little bit of this and they follow you and they soak up what you're putting out into the world, they will change their life. They will change their mindset. They will grow and be great because of it.
Thank you. Yeah. I hope so, man. Like that's like I keep saying, that's my goal. Like my goal is their goals being achieved. You know what I mean? And through mindset, hopefully we all get where we need to be.
I'll leave you with this one thing too.
Let's do it.
You know, one of my favorite mentors, I won't mention his name, but great guy. All right, it's Tony Robbins. But he always had a class where he taught people about goals and achievements. Mm-hmm. And so often we get tied up and hung up on our goals, but we have to focus on our achievements. And if, you know, like you talk about meditation, please, if you guys do anything, learn how to breathe, learn how to meditate, learn everything you can about it to start your day. And then when you meditate, focus on the things you will achieve that day, because nothing feeds your soul, feeds your mind so much so like achievement. I mean, I don't care what it is. It could be an achievement of like this much in your day, but if you rack them up and you just keep achieving things, I'm telling you, they add up. They're like bricks to a castle, and your life will be a castle.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Even if it's like 1%, right? 1% each day over the course of the year is 365%. Like I'll take a 365% gain.
You know, did you ever see the mathematical result of taking $1 and adding a penny for 365 days?
I didn't see the full of like the whole thing, but I've seen it before. Yeah.
So the whole concept of compounding. So when the first day you got a penny, it's $1.01. Then the next day you compound. It's 1%. Sorry, not 1 penny, but it's 1%. If you compound 1% for 365 days, if you just do it on a calculator, you can figure it out yourself. I don't know what the exact number ends up being, but it's ridiculously large. Like
massive.
It's not $1 and it's not $2. It's one of those numbers that you're like, how the fuck did that happen? And you realize a little bit of success on a daily basis that compounds your life adds up. And at the end of the year, you're not just slightly better, you're dramatically better.
100%.
And the important thing is to get a little bit out of every day, a little achievement every day.
Yeah. Because here's the dope part is that some days you'll get a lot. Like some days those smaller days compounding will turn into like a big day, like a big pop. And like, oh man, everything worked today. Like I couldn't miss. Like, you know what I mean? You have one of those days where you're in the zone, as they say. And
Tom Brady day.
Yeah, you just can't miss. Every shot was on, every pass, you caught every ball. Like everything happened. Everybody you talked to said yes. Everyone you tried to sell was like, give me 10. All of that stuff, you know,
give me 10.
Relationship. Right. Yeah, your relationship was butter. Like you and your significant other were just hitting on all cylinders.
You're married, right?
Yes.
How long you guys been married?
We have been married for 12 years, have been together for 21.
Jesus Christ, how old are you?
We've been together since, I'm 37 right now. We've been together since we were in
high school?
9th grade, yeah.
9th grade? Wait, 37, 21? What is that? That's like high school, isn't it?
Huh?
You guys met, you were together in high school?
Yeah. So I started school a year early and I got skipped a year. So I was really young in high school. I graduated when I was really young, actually. I had just turned 17 like a month or two before I graduated.
I thought my dog was loyal. You are a loyal man. When she watches this talk later, I just want that woman to know you are a loyal man and she is a loyal woman. Those are hard to find.
Yeah. Well, look, you get lucky sometimes, and sometimes God puts the right person in your path, and there's no reason to shake them.
You know, it's funny you say that because I know so many people. Like this girl, she's an amazing girl, and she's on Twitter all the time. She's like, I wish I had a boyfriend. She's looking, and I've told this to so many people. Someday, when you're not expecting it, God will put just like a bobblehead right in front of your life, and there will be this person, and you don't know it. And you didn't plan it, and somehow they are just a perfect fit for your life. And they are the yin to your yang. They are in her case, she's the one. What's her name, by the way?
Ariel.
What's up, Ariel? You out there? So like when she looks at you and when you look at each other, you guys probably have this feeling that it was just right, that there's a reason to be together.
Yeah.
How'd you guys meet? What's one of the funny stories of when you guys first started the love?
She's gonna kill me. She's gonna kill me. So
you cried.
we're young, right? So we're taking the bus to school. Actually, it was after school, taking the bus to us home because she lived like right around the corner from me, which is funny because we both lived like 2 cities over from our school. So we technically weren't supposed to be going to that school. Um, but we're taking the bus home, and there's a Burger King right next to the school. So I went to Burger King, had a burger and some fries. And I didn't know her at all at this point, like, because I just transferred into the school. I didn't know anybody, but I'm on the bus, and she asked me for some of my fries. And I'm like, I don't know this girl. She was cute though. So I was like, all right, yeah, you can have some of my fries. And she ate most of them. And then we became friends, like from then on. Like she was the French fry girl, and then it just kind of grew into, 20 years, 2 kids, and the rest of my life.
Still sharing fries? Your fries or her fries?
Yeah, no, she like sweet potato fries now, and I don't. Really
my God. Okay, so my friend Dave that does the masterclass, the meal prep masterclass.
Yeah.
And actually now I do know because we're videotaping how he does it. But like he makes these sweet potatoes mashed up so good. Like
yeah.
I used to try it and they'd be like too much, and then they were too lumpy. But like when they're good, they're so good. So good.
Yeah, I like them. I just don't like sweet potato fries. I don't know why. Like I like sweet potatoes just in general. You can do anything else with a sweet potato, but when it's a fry, I'm like,
Oh, let me tell you something. Sweet potatoes, when they're nuked properly and they're just got that little bit of steam, and you put, and I know somebody's gonna freak out about that, but you got to put real butter on it. Real butter. When you put a little bit of real butter on them, fucking delicious.
Savory, right? They got a little salt, a little sweet.
And then you use the fork and you make the lines, and then it goes and melts in between the lines. It's funny.
I'm hungry.
It's funny. Nothing grows in Vegas. Like I came from the Midwest where I like had a tomato little patch in my back of my house. Nothing grows in Vegas, but I love to grow shit. And so I have this trough that I bought, and I planted a yam in there, a sweet potato.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking growing sweet potatoes. Like it's growing like everywhere. I can't wait till they actually grow, but like I'm actually going to be like a sweet potato farmer in Vegas in the desert. I think that proves the impossible.
Yeah. Vegas is only sweet potato farmer.
Listen, super glad we had this time. I know more about you and where you're going, and I am more convinced than I was from a distance. I looked at you as this special person from a distance. In this time that we've had today, I am now convinced, I have confirmed in my life that you are going to be this great human being that is going to do great things for so many people. 100% sure. Like faith-wise, 100%. I might be off. Could be like 99.
Man, you keep saying these great things, man. Thank you. Like that's all I can. I don't even know how to like respond to them. Thank you. Thank you.
Probably the best way. And actually, don't take this wrong, but the more I say it, I'm neuro-linguistically programming your mind to be great.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said earlier.
I'm in there fucking around with you going, okay, this motherfucker was going to be great without me, but let me just tell him over and over again. Because when he sleeps at night, he's going to be like, well, that motherfucker said I was going to be great. He must know it, so he can't be wrong. And he said he was 99% right. So now you're going to be like, fuck, 99%. That's a pretty, it's close to 100.
Yeah.
It's like I got a 99% chance of winning the lottery tonight. Fuck, buy the ticket.
Right. Yeah.
Listen, want to thank you a ton. You gave me a ton of time. I know there's a dog somewhere running around your house right now going, where's my owner? Where's my master?
Yeah.
I got one over here that just brought me this. He's like, hey, can you throw this? Because all I know is this is my favorite toy. And by the way, any toy that does this shit, he loses his mind. Oh, come here. Come on. He's like, who's that? Yeah, there you go. He's got certain toys that for whatever reason, they didn't get torn into a million pieces. That's one he's had for like, I want to say 2 years now. And it's like, there's certain ones. He's like, all right, Dad, I heard you playing with that one. I'd appreciate it if you didn't touch it because that's my special one.
Yeah.
All right, everyone out on YouTube, he's the man. You can follow all his links below. You will live a better life with having some of his words in your ear to start your day. So glad we had this time, man. Hold on.